Making English simple for everyone.
Speak English with Josh and Hannah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk with Hannah. I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Hey, great to have you back. How's everyone doing? I hope you're ready to learn something really powerful today.
Oh, I'm excited about this one. This topic is something I personally struggled with for a long time, and I know so many of you are going through the same thing right now.
That's right. Today we're talking about one of the biggest challenges English learners face. That moment when you want to say something in English, but your brain goes to your first language first, translates it, and then by the time you're ready to speak, the moment is gone.
Yes, and by the end of today's episode, you're going to understand exactly why that happens, and more importantly, what you can actually do to stop it and start thinking directly in English.
So here's our first question for you today, and we want you to leave your answer in the comments below. When you speak English, do you translate from your first language first, or do you sometimes think directly in English? Tell us. We'd love to know where you are right now.
And if you're finding this helpful already, please hit the like button and subscribe to Talk with Hannah. We put out new episodes every week to help you speak English with more confidence.
All right, let's get into it, because your brain is actually more powerful than you think. You just need to train it the right way.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Why does your brain translate in the first place? Here's the simple answer. Your brain always takes the path it knows best. If you grew up speaking Urdu or Spanish or any other language, your brain has thousands of hours of practice in that language. English is newer, so your brain goes, I don't know the fast route yet. Let me use the road I already know.
Exactly. And this is actually completely normal. Every single person who learns a second language goes through this. It's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's just how the brain works at the beginning.
But here's the problem. When you translate, you're doing two jobs at the same time, thinking in your language and then converting it. That takes time, it creates pauses, and it can make you feel nervous and stuck.
Right. And the sentences you build by translating often don't sound natural either, because the grammar rules in your first language are different from English. So you end up with sentences that are technically close, but don't quite sound the way a native speaker would say it. For example, in many languages, you'd say something like, I have hunger. But in English, we say, I'm hungry. Direct translation doesn't work.
Oh, that's such a good example. And you know what? I used to do this all the time. I translate a sentence in my head, say it out loud, and then see the confused look on someone's face and think, wait, that sounded right to me.
We've all been there. So here's the key thing to understand. Translation is a habit, and habits can be changed. The goal isn't to stop thinking. The goal is to rewire which language your brain reaches for first.
So let's talk about how to do that. And here's something important. Thinking in English doesn't mean thinking in perfect English. It means thinking in English words, even simple ones, even broken sentences. That still counts.
Yes, and here's a little practice for you right now. Look around the room you're in. Can you name 5 things in English without thinking of the word in your first language first? Just look and say the word. Chair, window, cup, phone, light. Try it right now. Leave a comment and tell us how it went.
That's actually the first step. Building small English connections in your everyday environment. The more you label the world around you in English, the more your brain starts to reach for English naturally.
Great point. So the foundation is this. Translation is normal, it's not permanent, and the brain can absolutely learn a new default. In the next section, we'll talk about how to train that new default every single day.
Okay, so now we know why translation happens. Let's talk about how to actually start thinking in English. And the good news is you don't need to move to another country, you don't need expensive classes, and you don't need hours and hours of free time every day.
That's the best part. The real secret is something called immersion in small moments. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You create tiny English moments throughout your normal day.
So here's how it works. First, narrate your actions in English. When you're making tea, say to yourself, I'm putting the kettle on. I'm waiting for the water to boil. I'm adding the tea. Just describe what you're doing in simple English in your head or out loud if you can.
Second, think in English words when you're feeling emotions. Instead of feeling happy and thinking of the word in your first language, try to catch that moment and think, I feel happy. I'm excited. I'm tired. I'm nervous. Simple words, but you're building the habit of reaching for English first.
Third, when something happens around you, describe it in English. You see a cat on the street. Oh, there's a cat. It's sitting on the wall. It looks sleepy. You don't have to say it perfectly. You just have to say it in English.
Now, here's the difference between formal and informal thinking, and this is interesting. When you think to yourself, you don't need formal English. You can use casual, everyday English. I'm so hungry right now. This traffic is crazy. I can't wait to get home. That's totally fine. Don't wait until your English is perfect before you start thinking in it.
Okay, here's a little practice activity. I want you to take 1 hour today, just 1 hour, and every thought you have, try to have it in English. Even if it's messy, even if you mix languages a little, just try. And then come back and tell us in the comments, what was the hardest thought to have in English? We're so curious.
You know what I found hard at first? Feelings. It was easy to narrate actions, I'm cooking, I'm walking, but when I was really upset about something, my brain just went straight to my first language. It took time to build the emotional vocabulary in English too.
Oh, that's so real. Emotions are deep. They're connected to the language you grew up with, so be patient with yourself on that one.
Okay, so to review this section, 3 strategies for thinking in English. Narrate your actions, label your emotions, and describe the world around you in simple English every day. Do these in small moments every day and you'll start to notice a difference faster than you think.
Okay, now let's talk about the moment of truth, actually speaking. Because thinking in English when you're alone is one thing, but what about when someone asks you a question and you need to respond right now?
This is where so many learners freeze, and I get it. There's pressure when someone is looking at you and waiting. Your brain panics, goes to your first language, tries to translate, and by the time you have something ready, the moment feels awkward.
So here's a really helpful technique. Use filler phrases to buy yourself time. In real English conversation, even native speakers don't respond instantly every single time. They use phrases like, "That's a good question," or "Let me think about that for a second," or you know what?
Yes, and these aren't just tricks, they're completely natural in English conversation. Nobody thinks you're slow or struggling when you use them. They think you're thoughtful. So let's look at a few examples. Ready?
Go for it.
Okay, so imagine someone asks you, what do you think about living in a big city? Instead of freezing, you say, that's interesting. I think, well, big cities have a lot of opportunities, but they can also be really stressful.
You're not translating. You're using the words you already know in English to build an answer in real time.
That's the key. You use what you have, not what you wish you had. Learners sometimes wait until they know the perfect word, but real conversation doesn't work that way. Native speakers also sometimes say, "What's the word I'm looking for?" and then just keep going.
Exactly. And here's another tip for speaking without translating. Use simple sentence frames. If you have a basic structure ready in your head, you don't need to translate. Frames like, "I think," or "I feel," or "in my opinion." One thing I know is, "I'm not sure, but I think." These frames give your brain a starting point in English.
Okay, let's practice right now. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer out loud using a sentence frame. Ready? Here's the question. What's your favorite thing to do on the weekend? Say your answer out loud right now. Start with, "I really enjoy," or "On weekends, I usually." Go ahead, we'll wait.
And honestly, it doesn't matter if the sentence is perfect. What matters is that you said it in English, you started in English, and you kept going. That's the goal. Say it out loud and tell us your answer in the comments.
So in this section, use filler phrases to buy time. Use sentence frames as your starting point and use the words you already have instead of waiting for the perfect ones. Speak with what you've got.
Okay, let's talk about some very common mistakes that learners make when they're trying to stop translating. And honestly, I've made some of these myself, so no judgment here.
Same. These are so common and so understandable. Mistake number 1, trying to think in English using your first language grammar. This is when you're thinking in English words but arranging them in the order your first language uses. For example, in some languages, the verb comes at the end of the sentence. So a learner might think, "To the store I go tomorrow." But in English, it should be, "I'm going to the store tomorrow." The words are English, but the structure isn't.
That's such a good one. And the fix is learn common English sentence patterns by heart, not rules, patterns, like subject plus verb plus place plus time. I go to the store tomorrow. Internalize the pattern so it comes naturally.
Mistake number 2, translating idioms and expressions directly. This one causes a lot of confusion. If someone says, "It's raining cats and dogs," and you translate that literally into your language, it makes no sense. Every language has its own expressions that don't translate.
The fix is when you learn an expression, learn it as a whole unit. Don't try to understand it word by word, just accept it as a chunk. It's raining cats and dogs means it's raining very heavily. Done. Store it as one piece.
Mistake number 3, avoiding speaking because you think you need to be fluent before you talk. Oh, this one is so common and it holds so many learners back. You're not going to think in English by waiting until you're ready. You have to practice thinking in English before you feel ready.
Yes, speaking is actually one of the best ways to stop translating, because when you speak, your brain has to produce English quickly. And the more you do it, the faster that English pathway in your brain gets. You can't get that from just reading or listening.
Mistake number 4, giving up after a mistake. You start a sentence in English, you lose a word, you freeze, and you think, I can't do this. But that moment of searching for a word is actually the brain building the connection. It feels uncomfortable, but it's working.
Think of it like going to the gym. When your muscles are sore, that means they're growing. When your brain feels uncomfortable trying to think in English, that's growth happening. Don't stop there.
What mistake do you make the most? Tell us in the comments. We genuinely love to hear. And remember, every single person learning English makes these mistakes. The ones who get fluent are just the ones who keep going.
Okay, let's do some interactive practice. I'm going to give you 2 options, and I want you to choose the correct one and say why. Ready? And say your answers out loud.
Love this. Let's go.
Situation 1. Your friend asks, what do you think about learning English? You want to say your opinion. Which is better? Option A, English learning, I think, difficult, but good. Option B, I think English is difficult, but it's really worth it.
Option B, right? Because in English, we put the subject and verb at the beginning, I think. We don't move the topic to the front like that. And it's really worth it is a natural English expression. Always go for the natural phrasing.
Situation 2. Someone asks what you did last weekend. Option A, I went to a park and I walked for 1 hour. Option B, weekend I go park walking.
Option A, clearly, it has proper past tense, went and walked, and it has a natural sentence structure. Option B sounds like a direct translation. And notice, option A isn't complicated, it's simple and correct.
Situation 3. You don't know the English word for something. Option A, you stop speaking and say nothing. Option B, you describe it. It's a thing you use to, it's kind of like, it's the object that.
Option B every single time. This is called circumlocution, describing something when you don't know the word. And guess what? It's what fluent speakers do too. It's not a weakness, it's a skill.
Now here's your challenge. Think of one sentence about your day today, just one, and write it in the comments below in English. It doesn't have to be perfect, just write it. Right now. We'll be reading your comments.
Real conversation isn't about perfect sentences. It's about connection, expression, and practice. Every sentence you write or say in English is a step forward. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Wow, we covered so much today. I'm genuinely excited because this topic is one that can completely change your experience of learning English. Once it clicks, everything starts to feel different.
Absolutely. Let's quickly go over what we learned today. Number 1, your brain translates because it takes the familiar path, but you can build a new English path through small daily habits. Number 2, you can start thinking in English by narrating your actions, labeling your emotions, and describing the world around you in simple English every day.
Number 3, when it's time to speak, use filler phrases to buy time, use sentence frames to get started, and use the words you already have instead of waiting for the perfect ones.
And we talked about the most common mistakes: translating grammar structures directly, trying to translate idioms word for word, waiting until you're ready to speak, and giving up after making a mistake. All of these are fixable, and now you know how.
Here's our final question for you, and we really want to hear your answer. After everything we talked about today, what is one thing you're going to try tomorrow to start thinking more in English? Just one small thing. Write it in the comments. Making that decision out loud is the first step.
And if you want more episodes like this one, please like this video, share it with a friend who's learning English, and subscribe to Talk with Hana. We make these episodes for you, and every like and subscribe really helps us reach more learners around the world.
You're doing amazing just by being here and learning. Remember, fluency isn't about never making mistakes. It's about building the habit, one small English moment at a time. We believe in you. See you next time on Talk with Hana.